What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. This one's going to be part 3 to the most dangerous things that you can do in prison or be involved in prison that'll get you hit, or if you're lucky, you have to hit somebody else. I did one already on frivolous talk, right? And this one kind of falls under frivolous talk still. But I want to make sure each thing, each activity gets its own segment. And this one, it may not seem to some people as that big of a deal, but it's huge. This one is lying. When I was in the California Youth Authority, they didn't go by paperwork. If something was wrong with somebody and somebody said, "Hey, Holmes, that vato right there, hey, this is what time it is with him, let's get him." It wasn't, "Hey, homie, I need to see the paperwork, and hey, let me call this person and that." No, it was, "Why, hey, Holmes, if your word was no good, you were no good. If you spoke on somebody and you lied, you were going to be no good, period." So in the joint, in the California Department of Corrections, one of the worst things to be known as is a liar. Because if you're willing to lie to me about nothing, in my eyes, in my mind, you lie about everything. I'm not somebody that you're going to impress with your words. So the fact that you're willing to tell me a lie tells me more about you than about me. You think people around you are so dumb that they can't see through your lies? And in prison, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. You get around the wrong people, you only get one chance to make an impression. And if your impression is that you're a liar and you're a bullshitter, that's what you'll be known as forever. Nothing you say holds any weight. Nothing you say anybody wants to hear. Dudes ain't even gonna want to live with you. You know, you could have a celly, man, and you know you and your celly get along good, and he transfers or whatever, and the lying motherfucker is in a cell by himself, so the COs want to consolidate cells so they can open up a cell, and they move him in the cell with you, and you're like, "Ah, fuck, here comes this lying motherfucker, man. I want to hear this shit all day." You know, that when we're in the cell, that's your sanctuary. Whoever you are outside of the cell, get all your energy out. Get all your conversation out. When you get to the cell, that's where you relax as much as you can. It's still prison. You never know what your cellie may be up to. If he's losing his mind, if he's going through some stuff, if he's caught up in the mix. So you're always on your toes, but the only sanctuary you have in prison is your cell. And it's cool to chop it up with your cellie, you know, talk and, you know, have some laughs, but it's not an everyday, all day thing. So imagine they move a liar in your cell. And every time he opens his mouth, you're like, "Here we go with another fucking lie, man." It leads to tension in the cell. I remember a dude when I got out of the SHU and I met this guy. He was from the Harbor area in LA. And the moment I met him, like the very first conversation, he was telling me all these things and that he could hook me up with some broads and get me visits and all that. And I was like, I'm cool, Holmes. I don't need no visits. No, this and that. And then another homie comes, just got out of the SHU, and he tells him the exact same stuff he's telling me. And I'm like, damn, how many broads does he know? And other homies were like, hey, that Vato's a fucking liar, Holmes. Everything he says is a lie. Watch. Sure enough, every time somebody got out of the shoe, he was hooked. He doesn't even know these dudes. But he was trying to fit in. Guess what wound up happening to that guy? Yep. He wound up getting stabbed. Nobody could stand to be around him. So they showed him some love. And they asked him to whack somebody. He did. Went to the shoe. Was despised in the shoe. Got out of the shoe. And instead of coming back to B facility where we were at with him, he went to A facility in the Bay. They decided you were already shown some love and sent to the shoe and you still didn't learn. And they blasted him. He went to another prison. He got hit again. It followed him. I had a cellie. I talked about him. The worst cellie I ever had. I didn't meet one single person that met him that liked him. He too was a liar. He had heart. He was willing to put in work. He had no fear in him. But the fact that he was a fucking liar, he was so bitter that nobody could stand him. I talked about him in another video how if you go to Pelican Bay Shoe, well, you know, they shut it down now, but before you would go to Pelican Bay Shoe, one of the largest groups you were going to see in there was Southerners. Mexicans from Southern California, right? They're in every single pod. Explain to me how my old cellie, the liar, the bitter face, the one that shit in his pants, you guys should see that video. I'm not saying he got scared of something. No, he literally took a dump in his pants in the cell. How is it that in Pelican Bay Shoe, where the Southerners are so deep, they found a pod for him, C2A pod. There was no Southerners in there. And the legends in that pod in C2 sent him to A pod because he couldn't get along with not one other Southerner. Couldn't get to him. So he was banished to a pod where he couldn't stir up the pot. He couldn't create these whole concocted disputes in his mind that he was having with other homies and then go complain to the legends about it and create friction, create drama. I remember when I got there and he yelled over to me, he's like, hey, what's up, homie? I'm over here. I'm gonna sell by myself. I was like, all right now. Shit. I did that before. Wasn't doing that again. There's going to be at least one other episode that's going to have to do with your mouth. What comes out of your mouth. That falls under the frivolous conversations. It could. It's more like being frivolous with your mouth and not understanding the seriousness of prison. For those of you that are watching, that have a tendency to bend the truth, understand everyone around you, they know the difference. Especially if they've been around you more than once. It's a bad habit. If you're criming it, break that habit now. Because if you go behind those walls, it'll get you broken. It's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.